drive my business very much further. So that was definitely a lesson learned, which I'm trying to help our listeners to avoid.
Exactly. And also one of the important things with that is that if you've put all this effort into teaching them something or getting them to a point and you don't have a product to sell them or you don't have something to offer them in the next step, they are going to be so excited about learning about this. They're going to go and find it elsewhere. So they're going to go and pay someone else because they've already gone through this entire challenge or they've gone through, your blog post and they're ready. So now they're going to find someone who's offering them something and you need to be that person.
Yes, you did all the groundwork in the first place. Yeah. So it's so funny.
Exactly.
I think sometimes that's where business coaches are probably very valuable people.
Yes, definitely. Because they're always the ones spotting those, the problems or where your bridges aren't connecting, I guess is what they call it.
Absolutely. So if another question I have for you is, if I have a product or a blog post, would you create several different pins that point to that, or would you just use one?
I would definitely create several. And again, the reason for that is there's multiple reasons. So the first reason is because if you create multiple images, so pins leading to the same blog post or product, those pin images are going to be slightly different, which means they're going to be attracting a slightly different ideal client all the time. So maybe one of your ideal clients is interested in this kind of color. They're more attracted to a specific color, one of your brand colors. Then the next person is more attracted to your secondary brand color, and they're more likely to stop at your pin with that brand color. And so it goes through your pin images that everybody is maybe in a different space while they're pinning. They are looking for different things. They aren't always all in exactly the same place when they see your pin. So seeing multiple pins sometimes captures them at different points, and it's more likely that they're going to click through or you're going to get more traffic through that. And the second reason is because Pinterest likes new content. It likes new pins being added to Pinterest. So when you add multiple pins leading to a blog post, for example, you're adding more new pins to Pinterest. Even though it's the same URL, it's new content. It's a new pin that's been added. And you're going to see your traffic spike when you add new content. Because most of Pinterest, I think 80% or more, is repins. And so that's what's on Pinterest, is 80% repins.
Wow.
So actual new content is very valuable to Pinterest. And so they like to help you out a little bit with your reach when you add new content. So that's another benefit.
That's excellent. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting, seeing the whole setup and how everything flows on Pinterest is really, really interesting.
It is. And do you then, when you're working with somebody, or if you're teaching somebody to use Pinterest, do you create different boards, and how many boards would you decide to have? Maybe we should tell people what boards are actually first.
Yes. Okay. So if you think of Pinterest like a pin board the cork board you used to put on your wall, where you used to take magazine clippings for ideas, for inspiration, for knowledge, for whatever it is that you wanted to use to improve your life, you would pin it with one of those old school pins to this cork board on your wall. Now, Pinterest decided that they would make that a virtual thing, so something you could do online. And that is really what Pinterest was initially. So that's how you can think of it in one sense. And boards are basically like those cork boards on your wall. They're different categories that you create so you can pin similar content to one specific place. So a board will contain pins that you decide to add to it. And generally we try and do it categorically, so based on a specific topic or category. So if you want to create a home board or a home decor board, you put all your home decor pins in there. If you're a social media manager, you may create a Facebook marketing board, a Pinterest marketing board, an Instagram tips board. You may also create a home office board. So, and you're going to categorize or add these different pins into these different boards and separate them so they all are related to a specific topic.
And how many boards would you think somebody should have?
I would always start with 10 to 20. So your first 10, you want to make sure that those are related specifically as a business, and you would get a business account. I know you mentioned earlier, is there a personal and a business account? There is a business account, and you should definitely get it. I know a lot of people get scared that they're going to be hampered by getting a business account in terms of their reach, but it's not true. You actually get better returns, you also get analytics and so many more tools that help your pins reach more people on Pinterest. So when you look at creating boards, you want to make sure that the first 10 boards relate to the content that you share on your website. So you have to be able to add your pins to those 10 boards. If you can't pin your content to those 10 boards, then you are really wasting your time in those first 10 boards, because you want to make sure that you can share your content on Pinterest. Otherwise, again, no one's going to come to your site.
Yes.
So the first 10 boards, try and make it very specific to your topic, very specific to what you do. The next 10 can be slightly more industry specific, where you may occasionally create a blog post about that topic. So if you, for example, are a social media manager and you create the home office board, you may not often create blog posts about your home office or something like that, but you may create 1 or 2 blog posts, or you might do a video about your home office or something like that. So as you can see, the next 10 are slightly more industry specific. They'll attract your ideal client, but they're not necessarily your core boards that you're going to be sharing your pins that will actually lead to paid products. Okay. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that properly? Okay, perfect.
No,
just want to make sure.
It is perfect. And on those first 10 boards, you would have a mix of your pins and other people's pins, right?
Yes, you're curating a board that your ideal client can then go through and look at. But also it's a way to attract your ideal client there, because if they see someone else's pin on your profile, they can sometimes get led to your profile through that. Okay. So you want to create a nice little mix between the two.
Oh my goodness, there's really so much information here. Okay, so I think, are there any other things that you would like to say for helping people out who are beginners on Pinterest?
Yes. So if you are starting out on Pinterest, it's really important just to keep it simple. Because like we've chatted here, it can get very complex when you start looking into, the depths of what you can do. But really it comes down to just understanding what tools are available to you as a marketer on Pinterest, and switching your mindset from personal Pinterest user to a marketer on Pinterest. And once you make that switch and you think, this isn't about me, this is about my ideal client. So everything I do, every action I take has nothing to do with my personal interests. This is purely to do with my business and the people who are interested in my business. You're going to start seeing that all the steps that you take will actually be attracting your ideal client. And just keeping everything simple, starting with one element and improving it and then moving on.
Yes.
The great thing about Pinterest, is that it's a long-term marketing platform. So it's one of those things where you continuously improve and it just compounds your results over time as you make those small improvements.
Yes, I do think it takes, would you say it takes 3 to 6 months to start seeing any real traction with traffic on Pinterest?
Definitely. So generally, if you add your content, let's go with in the first month, you may see 5 click-throughs to your pins per day. Okay. And then, so that's still quite a lot for starting out without having major followers or anything like that. The next month, you may see 10 click-throughs per day to your different pins, for example, in total. The next month, third month, you may see 20. The fourth month, you may see 25. But as it goes, it's going to start compounding. So you should really look at it from month 3 onwards, and you should be seeing about 20. It will mix between 15 to 25 click-throughs per day. And that means you're on a good trajectory, because as you keep going month after month, it's going to just keep improving and keep increasing.
Yes, I think that is where a lot of people would be more, not negative about Pinterest, but maybe they give up because they're too impatient to wait for those benefits to come through.
Definitely. I can totally understand, but I also look at it from this perspective. When you are posting consistently on a platform, like Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, it's great because you're getting immediate traffic, you're getting immediate results. But that Facebook post won't bring you any traffic in 6 months from now. Okay. Whereas Pinterest, if you're going to be posting daily, so you're pinning it consistently and repinning it, you're doing the same amount of work as Facebook, but it's continuously compounded, where in 6 months, in a year, you're still getting traffic to that product. You're making sales, and all you've been doing is exactly what you've been doing on Facebook or a different place, but you're compounding the results over time.
You see, Kathryn, you're talking to the converted here, because I am a huge Pinterest fan, and I think this is brilliant. People are going to listen to this, and hopefully they're going to say, right, yes, absolutely, let's all move to Pinterest.
I love that. I hope so.
You have a little freebie for our listeners, don't you, Kathryn?
Yes, I do. I have a 10-step checklist that is going to help you get started. So that goes from starting your account, setting it up. And again, I've kept it simple to 10 simple things just to set up your profile to make sure that you are starting, you're getting traffic, you're adding your pins and all of that. It can be found at kathrynmoorhouse.com/10 steps. And it's the number 10, so 10 steps like that.
And I will put a link to that underneath this podcast episode. Kathryn, you and I, honestly, we could talk all day.
I know we could.
But I would just really thank you for coming on and talking about Pinterest with my audience. I hopefully people, if you look up Kathryn online, Kathryn, where can they find you if they want to get in touch and find out more about what you do?
Well, they can visit my website, kathrynmoorhouse.com, and just pop a message through the contact form, or you can visit me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Kat Moorhouse. And I'm always happy to answer questions about Pinterest.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed this chat.
Thank you so much. It's been such a fun time. I really appreciate it.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kathryn. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Social Bee podcast. Come and join us over at www.socialbeeni.com and let's start creating a buzz about your business. And if you like what you hear, please pop over to iTunes and leave me a review. I'd really appreciate it. See you next time.